Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday. Thursday? Yeah, Thursday night. And this is the NGSC Sports Weekly NBA show. NBA postseason is in full effect right now. If you're a basketball fan and you don't know what's going on, you need to give your fucking basketball card back, and you know what I'm saying, and just that's it. Give it up. Uh, Otherwise, wow, what an NBA playoffs. We were on last week. I can't wait to talk Georgia because it's like we had a show last week and now we got to do a whole new flip on the show. Anyway, first and foremost, remember the website. The website is ngscsports.com. You get all of your current content. First and foremost, hey, I'm doing the show. Hey. First and foremost, congratulations to NGSC Sports. More directly, Bradley Lewis Walker gave us two pieces of news today, not one, but two. I was lucky enough to get into Houston Astros baseball for most of the 3 years that I lived in Houston. And we were lucky last year to get a couple of Rays games. And you know Brad a little bit, Louis. He's not, sometimes he could be a Debbie Downer. I don't know, Rob. Well, he got him. So we were approved April 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Boston Red Sox will come into town. And, of course, Brad will be covering the Tampa Bay Rays for NGSC Sports up in the press box. And then I'm just reading the post here on Facebook. He says, on top of Rays credentials, I just got the AAC baseball tournament ones as well. I'd be damned. Not a bad day. Anyway, if you log on to the website, of course, for all your current content, you'll find, let me go to this one. Jordan Rhea, NBA swing. I like this one. Ranking Nikola Jokic's 3 MVP awards. I like the way you broke that down, 3, 2, 1. Check that out. There were questions about Joker and should he have won the MVP. Somebody's here to help me talk about that and really put a nice spin on it, okay? Let's see here. I threw up a little piece, the Dallas Cowboys strategic moves in the 2024 NFL draft, a comprehensive overview of the Dallas Cowboys and what it's not going to help them. Don't worry about it, but you got to write about the Cowboys every now and then so you can get people to the website. Sammy Sportface gives us all in one night. The Joker slaughters all of his critics. Man, we're going to get to that topic in a few minutes. And when we get to that topic, we might stay there for a little bit, but damn. Matthew Wilder gives us Fantasy Football 2024 top running backs. Also, he's given us his risks and reward picks. All that and more on gscsports.com, where we never stop. Let's get the guys in. Somewhere near the Windy City, maybe not that close, but somewhere near it. And sorry, it's an NBA show. We got to go to the NBA guy. That would be Jordan Rhea. What up, Jay?
Ralph, we got so much to talk about tonight. We really do.
I know, man. It's so crazy how all this, what we were expecting, what we talked about last week, and now you come to this week like, damn. Anyway, from the shores of what was it? Gitche Gumi? No, Joycey. He is the host of the Enhanced Sports Show Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m. It's Thursday, folks. If you didn't start calling in yesterday to get into Louis' show on Saturday, you are behind the 8 ball, and you might find yourself SOL. Yes. I love it because he got a harem that comes in that show. Of course, he's also the co-host of In the Batter's Box, our baseball show, and he likes to hang out with us when we talk about basketball. I think Louis would hang out with us if we talk about anything. Of course, we're talking about Mr. Louis Tenour. Louis!
Wow. Well, one thing for sure, that basketball is my game more than anything else, more than baseball, more than basketball is my area of expertise.
No shit, Louis. How about that? Hey, Louis, speaking about the other sports, don't forget, okay?
Right. Huh? Well, you know how I feel about some other team, which I can't stand either. but I won't do it here.
I know it's not a baseball show, but I hate the fucking Yankees, and I gotta say it every time because
I hate the Celtics. What can I say about that?
It gives me fulfillment and joy to say that. And from the other shores on the eastern coast, just a little lower from Jersey, that would be North Carolina via Jersey. The one and only, my boy. Crazy motherfucker though. Sammy Sportface. Sammy, what's going on?
Hey man, great to be here tonight, Ralph. Totally fired up to be with you guys. I think the NBA is scorching hot right now for all sorts of reasons that we're about to get into.
Jesus, man. So as I posted the show, and I'll be sharing this as I speak, as I posted the show, earlier, John comes with a comment, and John says, Boston Celtics won. The guy outside of Boston sends me an email to tell me that the Boston, don't forget the Boston Celtics won in 5 games against the Miami. Okay, fine. So you know what we're going to do?
Yeah.
John, you're the boss. I'm going to start off with the Celtics. Yo, Jay, look. One of the first things, we talked about it last week, right? One of the first things that you wondered about was where the Celtics would be without Kristaps Porzingis. I got to say that of the teams that he's been on, that's the team he just see. I don't know, something about him in a Celtic uniform, playing for the Boston Celtics just seems right. Unfortunately, injuries happen. We're going to talk about injuries with other teams as well, starting with mine. But
mine.
It didn't make – I never thought it was going to make a difference against Miami. Miami, they got a game. Was it Miami? Who they beat? Miami?
Yeah. Cavaliers.
No, I'm just playing. I wanted to make it sound like I forgot who they played. No. But
okay.
five games, Jay, easy, quick work, and the Celtics move on. But it was expected, right?
Listen, I mean – it's pretty much a cakewalk for the Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, you play the Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler. You play the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were down, Jared Allen. You lose Donovan Mitchell in Game 3, so you have 2 games without Donovan Mitchell. I mean, the only people who could have beat them were themselves. So, congrats. You know, now you face the Knicks, most likely, but we'll get there when we get there.
Sound like the Dodgers, Louis. The only team that could beat them is themselves. But Louis, it's what's expected, Louis, of the Celtics. You know, anything but making it to the NBA Finals, and really anything else beside winning the NBA Finals is going to be a bust for the Boston Celtics. I know you're not a big Celtics fan, neither am I, but you know. They're playing great ball, Louis, and they moved on. They're in their way. They're in the Eastern Conference Final.
You know, it's just as shocking though that they've made it to the Eastern Conference Final 6 of the last 8 years, yet they haven't won a series, a title in 16 years. I mean, and the fact that Porzingis is on a team makes it even more disgusted with me because he used to be on our side, but of course then it became so injury prone and left the Knicks, and he didn't do much. But now he's on the Celtics. Oh, now he's having a great career all of a sudden. Thanks a lot, you dirty traitor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? Hey, Chuck, I'm going to get your take, but before Sammy Sportsface speaks, I just want to let you know, as the man in charge of NGSC Sports, that NGSC Sports is not fully responsible. We're only partially responsible for what Sammy Sportsface might say. I just wanted to get that out in the open first. Chuck, how about them Celtics, huh?
Yeah, Ralph, it's pretty incredible that the difference in the East versus the West, it seems like all hell's breaking loose out there in the West. And yeah, the Knicks is an interesting series for sure, but Boston's just kind of a boring situation right now. And do any of us really believe they have anybody on their team who can stop the Joker? Does anybody on any team have anybody who can stop the Joker? I'm okay with the Celtics.
Yeah.
But as far as the Celtics go, I think that people have been saying they're going to win it all year, and I'm not a believer in that.
And that's a good question, a good point to bring up before we get off of here. So the Celtics, look, the best team in basketball all year long, as far as consistently the best team. They've done exactly what they were supposed to do: win the East by 53 games, march through the playoffs. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. They belong. They're expected to go to the NBA Finals. But you know what? I've heard others, and I've read on threads that there are people that are not. I don't know if you one of them, Jay, but there are people. I am one of them. Like Sammy just said, I am one of them that's kind of iffy if I trust the Celtics. Yeah, they got what it takes. They got the team, but can they do it, Jay? I don't know.
Yeah, because there are teams in the West that are just as capable. I mean, you have the defending champion, Denver Nuggets. You have the Thunder, or the Blunder, as the case may be, and I wouldn't sleep on Dallas either, because they're making a case here. So the West, is just as strong and capable of beating the Boston Celtics of the East, and I hope they do, actually, because I can't stand the Celtics anyway.
We'll see. Jay, you got faith. You got faith in Boston to go all the way.
You could have asked this question going back, like we've mentioned before, 6 of the last 8 years. I mean, they've gone to the finals.
Damn.
Damn. You've lost to LeBron's Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times. You lost to the Miami Heat twice in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you probably shouldn't have lost either of those series. And then you lose to the Golden State Warriors in the finals. Yeah, they're probably gonna go to the finals. It's inevitable at this point, with so many injuries from every other team. But once you get to the finals, you're looking at Denver, possibly Dallas, maybe Minnesota, maybe OKC if everything goes all right. But like I said before, the only team that can beat them is themselves. Missing Porzingis is big, but I mean they still have enough players. But will they shoot up when they need it to?
They still got enough. So, the Celtics are done. They wait now.
I think what it boils down to shooting. I just think that when it gets down to it, Boston takes too many outside shots, and they rely on the three. And they're good shooters, but they're not great shooters. And that's going to be their downfall unless they figure out how to go inside and get a lot of easy buckets. They're not going to. They're not. They don't shoot the ball well enough. You can't. I mean, Tatum's a really good player, but he's not a great shooter. Nor is the other guard. What's his name?
Oh, Brown.
Yeah, he's not a great shooter. They're athletic. This kind of brings up the whole discussion. But we can broaden it a little bit. But everybody's talking about athleticism, and athleticism is not just being able to jump high or run fast or, have a quick first step. Athleticism is hand-eye coordination. It's how quick are your hands? Do you hit a guy in the right spot? And I think that, everybody's talking about Joker isn't a great athlete. Joker's a phenomenal athlete. He's a better athlete than everybody else. Yeah, and this is nonsense about, he's not athletic enough. He can't jump high. I don't understand it. Here's my point. Do you want a guy who can jump high and can't put the ball in the bucket, or a guy who can't jump high who can score all the time? It's an obvious answer, but everybody wants to talk about athleticism.
And because
Tatum's a great athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brunson.
That was a good point, Chuck.
So the whole point is this whole thing about athleticism is driving me crazy.
No. That's a great point, because when you look at the Celtics and you look at Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, you look at Tatum and Brown, this duo right here that's been primed to to do exactly what they're supposed to. And Jordan, you brought up a great point. They've already had opportunities to win an NBA championship, and y'all ain't done it yet. So why should we have faith? But
and I seem to remember them missing a lot of shots in the clutch.
Right. That's a great point that you made earlier, Chuck. As we move off of the Celtics, it's a great point you made because, yes, Brown and Tatum, their talent, that's unquestionable. Their basketball talents are unquestionable. But if you can't shoot the basketball, and a lot of great players, not a lot of great players, let me say it the right way. There's some great players that I've seen and we've known in the past that they were great drivers, great down low, but they had to develop a shot. Whether it was, now Kareem had the skyhook down, but whether it was a center developing a turnaround, a guard or a forward developing a 15 and 18 footer, they had to develop it. And, Brown and Tatum aren't consistent with that. But that's a great point. Now, before I put up I will put this up and lead it off this way. In all the sports shows I have done in all my life in sports, first of all, I always say, Sammy, Louie, Jordan, you're younger and considerably younger than myself and Sammy, but the three of us, and you've heard me say this before, Louis, many times, have had the honor and the pleasure to watch some of the greatest athletes that have ever in sports, in all these sports. It is an incredible time in my life. I got to go. I don't want to die, but I got to go. But damn, if I could die slow enough to think, get a minute to think and know I'm going and think about sports and say, holy shit, all the greats that I got to see in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But what makes you great? Does it make you great because, as Sammy just said, you can fly? Does it make you great because you're fast? Hell, does it make you great because you scored 35 points a fucking night? No. Greatness wins championships. Greatness not only wins championships. Before greatness wins championships, greatness, whoever that player or players on that team may be, greatness grooms the players around them and make them better. And they make the entire team better. They become champions. And there's been a lot of times when these great players have had their backs against the wall. Jay, I'm going to go to you first. Last week, we talked about, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder are up 2-0. And they just finished that game 2. What Minnesota did to Denver in game 2 was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. So, Jay, 2-0. We talking about and I read it through. I read it in the threads. I've seen it on social media. I've seen it in the sports shop. Oh, Lord, them young boys in Oklahoma. Oh, them young boys in Minnesota. They ready. Well, it's Thursday. It is May 16th. And with their backs against the wall, we're going to go to Dallas and Luka Doncic first. Let's stick with Luka in Dallas.
Yes.
So here they are. Mavs down 2-0 to the Thunder. They are now up 3-2. And that last game with Luka, Jay took control. And now Dallas is up 3-2. I'm going to say it right now. It's over.
Yeah, earlier, going back to the first round, actually, Luka was hurt. Dude pretty much had every injury possible, limping around the court. I think it might have been game 3. He basically smacked his face on the floor, So, but he keeps getting up. He's starting to argue less with the refs. He's focusing more on the game, and it's showing. I know Kyrie Irving last couple games hasn't been the greatest on the court, but you got other guys stepping up. Derek Jones Jr. He was on Chicago. It was Chicago last season. Wasn't doing much. The dude scored, I believe, 17 and 19 points in the last 2 games. Really coming in when you need them. Derek Lively. it's really surprising, and we could talk about this with Denver too, how with their backs against the wall, it's not only the superstars, but these role players who have kind of stepped in when one of those superstars hasn't been up to task. And this is going to be the reason why Dallas and Denver may both finish their series right here, right now.
Yeah. Hey, Louis, like I said, you've been there, man. You watched the great Yankees and Knicks and all the players, Magic,
Rangers.
You've seen it all, Louis. And
we're
watching two guys in Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic.
I remember this Bird Magic of the 80s, or maybe Bird and Jordan later. So, I don't know if you can make that comparison, but it's fairly close. I mean, because these two are going to be, the next big stars of the NBA, and with the skills they have, they are going to take the league to the next level. At least I believe that. I mean, Joker is a phenomenal player. There is talk about Embiid, but Embiid gets too injured much, so you can't really, I mean, he's good, but he's not exactly,
He's great, but yeah, he gets hampered just a little too much. Yeah.
That's what he was known for.
Sammy, you and I have been talking, man. We've been talking. We had a good conversation earlier. And for those of you who don't know, I don't know, you might get a hint that Sammy is a Joker fan. You might. If not, you've already read on the site what a fan he is, rightfully so. But we talked about Joker. And, Sammy, you asked me if I watched the game last night. I said no. And then after we spoke on the phone before the show, I said to myself, damn it, you know what? I need to go ahead and get to the game and check the game out. So I got the game up and kind of rode through it and made sure as fast as I could. That's what I did. Just sat here and just after we talked. And holy shit. That was like if there were any cops in the building, I do not understand how they did not go down to the court and arrest Nikola Jokic for adult abuse on Rudy Gobert. Listen. It was drop step shots, turnaround shots, fadeaways, baby hooks, multi-pump shot. At one point, the Wolves have a three. Their center the depth chart goes three. He took all three centers on back-to-back, 3 possessions back-to-back. He got each one of the centers, each one of the stars, rather, I should say, all of them on different shots. He literally just picked when he wanted to. And Sammy, as I give it to you, the one thing that I really noticed the most, because we talked about how he's a quiet guy, he does not flashy, not trying to make the news, he doesn't care about that. And he's great, and you'll talk about it. But what I noticed in this game in particular, and you talked about he made the little jab after the game, you can talk about that, but in the press conference. But he did this. He was very deliberate, Sammy. He was very deliberate. There were times I saw him, he could have taken another type of shot, but he wanted to put on a show. Because you and I were talking on the phone. Listen, the man's competitive, okay? Even though he's not loud, don't tell me he ain't looking at you saying, I just fucking wore your ass out. Sammy, the Joker.
Well, let me tell you a little story. The other night, I wasn't going to watch the game because it came on at 10:30 at night in the East Coast. But I just had to stay up because I absolutely love watching this guy play basketball. And I was up till 1:30 or 2 in the morning, which is very rare. And I was literally yelping to myself. I was screaming. I was like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen by a basketball player. And let me tell you something. I said the immediate word that came to mind was masterpiece. And every headline coming through the sports feeds is masterpiece, masterpiece, masterpiece. I mean, it was one of the 3 or 4. It was a Mount Rushmore performance. And I think that he's pissed off because he's just had enough of, Shaq telling him he didn't deserve the MVP and Kendrick Perkins telling him he didn't deserve the MVP. And he was just pissed, and he's not going to talk a lot of trash, but he was unbelievable. Aaron Gordon said after the game, they said, "What'd you think of Joker?" He says, "I don't even know what I just saw." and he was blown away. And then the Joker was asked a question in the press conference about, "Hey, you drove down the middle and dunked the ball." And he said, "Yeah, I'm just a freak of nature. And I wanted to show off my athletic ability." He never says stuff like that.
Never says stuff
and
like
he's
that.
Really funny guy. And he just laughed but it was a passive aggressive. It was like, "No, I really am a freak of nature. And I'm going to tell you that right now. And I just showed you I'm a freak of nature."
Right.
And he is so freaking good. And then I started running it through my head. Okay, who is better than him ever? Maybe Michael Jordan, but I can't think he's better than. I mean, you can make a case he's better than almost everybody.
Sammy gets emotional on certain things. He gets emotional. I don't know if he could. I don't know if he's up that high, but first and foremost, I say it. No, Michael Jordan.
No. I hedged that.
Joker has to play more. He has to play more. Yes. He's working his way. He's going to have to win. Jay, I don't know how you feel. He's going to have to win 2, 3, 4 more NBA championships and continue.
But here's the thing. His teammates didn't want to let him lose because they like him so much as a human being. And they said, "We're not going to let this guy down." They love this guy.
Yeah.
He's the greatest humble, super duper star ever. Maybe Wayne Gretzky was a pretty cool guy too. Everybody loved him. But Joker is the coolest guy.
Okay. Wait a minute. Holy.
What?
You made my head spin there. I just have to tell Jordan real quick. Jordan. Wayne Gretzky was the closest thing to an alien, I think, that we've ever had in sport.
Yes. And that's Joker. It's not just greatness. It's not just that he's great. It's that you can't understand what he's doing. Because if you've ever played basketball before, you know how hard it is to do what he does. In fact, it's basically impossible to do a lot of the
especially
things
at his size. Especially at his size.
Yeah.
It's impossible. He got a rebound with one hand, didn't bring it down, and threw it 80 feet for an easy layup on the money. Think of the number of times the guy throws the ball right on the money at the right pace. It's ridiculous. It's not even logical how great he is.
So now the Denver Nuggets, and the Dallas Mavericks find themselves up now 3-2 with a chance both to clinch and move on to the Western Conference Finals. Let me tell you, by the way, Jay know I talk a lot of shit about Kyrie. It looks like Kyrie done found his Batman to his Robin. Yeah. And a play, because normally on a game like this, Kyrie might talk a little shit on Twitter. He's been quiet.
He's cleaned up his act.
He's cleaned up.
Let me tell you something about Doncic. This guy is fucking hurt, man. He's hurt. And he's really hurt. And he went out and scored 30, 11, and 10 last night. And he's freaking hurt. He's in a lot of pain. We all need to respect that. And we need to respect Kyrie because he's changed his ways. No one was more critical of me than Kyrie.
Oh, man, he
was in Brooklyn, but no, he's cleaned up his act. You know what else? He said Luka's going to win an MVP real soon. He's picking up his teammate. I think he's had some sort of epiphany or life change. And I think he's going to come up big as these playoffs progress. I think he and Kyrie like each other, and I think he just likes being there.
Now, as we look forward, Jay, Louis, then you, Jordan. Louis, as we look forward to what may be or what looks like it could be. Because right now, guys, I'm sorry. As excited as I was for Minnesota and Oklahoma City, they are showing their youth. They're showing their inexperience. Although Karl-Anthony Towns has no business, though he's not having a bad series per se. 19 and a half points, I believe. So.
And give him credit. He's hurt, and he played hurt the other night.
But Louis, if it's looking like a Dallas Maverick Denver Nugget Western Conference Final, Luka and the Joker. I don't know. What do you think?
Now that would be one hell of a Western Conference Finals matchup if that were to take place. I mean, it's too early to tell because the Wolves are hanging around. I mean, this has not been an easy series so far. I didn't expect it to be anyway, but as of right now, I think we're going to see that matchup, and I think that's what most basketball fans would want. Especially that's going to be like a heavyweight finals matchup that goes through.
Hey Jay, the first thing I think of when I think of Denver Nugget Dallas Maverick Western Conference Final, first thing I think of is that a series like that with those two teams and those two guys, that got to go 7. That got to go 7, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, series obviously semifinals aren't over yet, but I think that Minnesota. They lost the series when they lost game 3. Joker had that amazing comeback. He showed why he won the MVP for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
And then you look at OKC, you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you got Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, but then you kind of just have, some good role players, but a lot of them aren't showing up.
Yeah.
Luka, Kyrie, showing why they're superstars. I think if this series happens, which that's what it's looking like, it's going to be star-studded. It's going to go long. We're going to get a lot of stories out of it. And then if you think about this, those are two superstars you never want to see play together. Just imagine that. That would be
that'd be crazy.
Imagine it right now.
That would be great. Hey, Sammy, Jordan just said something that kind of lit up a light bulb in me. He said it'd be a great series, a long series. He also said, and there'll be a lot of stories that come out of this series. Oh boy, Sammy Sportface is gonna have to try to find to get some sleep. This is a hell of a series.
One of the stories is, for real, what the hell's going on in the AAU leagues in Europe that they're developing skills better than the ones in the United States? Clearly, right. They're teaching them how to play basketball better than Americans. That's what's going on.
Right.
And speaking of shooters, Luke is a phenomenal shooter, and that's why he can beat Boston. And Joker's a phenomenal shooter, and that's why they can beat Boston. I don't think they practice shooting as much in the United States in the AAU leagues as they do in Europe. And they don't practice passing, and they don't teach them passing. And so what's going on is a bit of a tidal wave is starting to roll over the NBA, and there are going to be more and more and more Europeans taking the American spots.
And that's why we lost the World Cup last year.
Sammy has said that before on many occasions, written articles about it, because it's true. I mean, we got America. We got all the athletes, right? All the gazelles.
That doesn't put the ball in the bucket.
You said it better earlier. Even it doesn't win games. It don't win games. Look, right now, when you look at all this big 3 setup, how successful has all this big 3 bullshit been? Not as successful as they all planned it to be. Because if it was going to be successful, we'd be talking now about what team won multiple championships. And then this team won. Only 4 teams have won the NBA championship the last 17 years.
See that, like I said, that's why that's what we're losing is international competitions like the one we had last year. Yeah, we made it to the semifinals, but we got blitzed in that semifinal matchup. See, but the European players, I think, have grown accustomed to how we play, and they're copying of us probably, and they're finding ways to win and beating us. luckily we have won the Olympics, but other than that, in international competitions, it's starting to turn the other way. They're being us instead of
is Joker playing for Serbia's Olympic team?
Yes.
Yeah.
They could beat the United States.
Just
without a doubt.
I
hope they don't, but they have a good chance of beating him.
Right? That's crazy.
With him on the team, they can beat the United States.
I was afraid you'd say that.
So, don't you think?
I mean, what are you going to do? Bet against Joker?
No,
I would.
He makes everybody better. I don't care who's. I mean, he's got a Joker. Joker could win the gold medal.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, as we see Chuck, you see my beautiful background?
Yes.
I'm in one of the New York Knicks executive offices. They let me use it every now and then.
By the way, speaking of tough guys, Brunson's hurt, and he's scoring.
We're about to get into that.
What I'm trying to say is there are a lot of tough dudes right now going for a championship who are playing in a lot of pain, and you got to respect that.
So back in 1979, I was 16 years old, and me and my buddy, real big Knicks fans. Of course, being Knicks fans. But I was also the 1979 NBA Finals were against the Seattle Supersonics and the Washington Bullets. They played the 78-79 and the 79-80 back-to-back NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. I was a big Washington Bullets fan. More so, I was a big Wes Unseld fan. And more than that, I loved Bobby Dandridge.
Mm-hmm.
Loved me some Bobby Dandridge, boy.
Yep.
Number 10 could turn around, fade away, hit that banker boy from the left. Oh,
and he shot they called it the rider. Remember the rider across the lane?
Yeah. Sweet. And Wes Unseld was 6'9". Wes Unseld was 6'9". He's one of the best centers, man, I ever seen play the game of basketball. But
and to compare it, Wes Unseld had the best outlet pass in the history of the NBA until Joker. Now Joker has the best outlet pass in the NBA.
So what I'm getting at is, in 1979, I think it was before Thanksgiving. No, it was after Thanksgiving, before Christmas. The Washington Bullets came to town, and my buddy and I wanted to go see, especially me, I wanted to go see the Bullets. I wanted to see Bobby Dandridge and Wes Unseld, but I didn't have no money. There wasn't nobody going to buy me a fucking ticket.
No.
So we went downtown anyway, because there was a door. I don't remember where. I'm not going to try to remember, but that Madison Square Garden went around that whole block area, and one of those doors was a maintenance door. For some reason, every now and then, that door would be cracked. We found it in 1976. So we knew about that. And every once in a while, we take a chance to go down and see a Knicks game. Go all the way up to the top, smoke that funny stuff, drink some apple malt duck, have a good time. Well, I'm a Knicks fan. I told Sammy on the phone. He laughed. He thought it was pretty cool when I said it. Louis heard me say it before about, the Yankees. There's two things about me you need to know. Number one. And John's not here, Louis. That's why I can use some bad language.
He hates those damn Yankees.
God damn it. I hate the New York Yankees. You just cannot understand how much I hate the New York Yankees. I am 61 years old, and I have hated the Yankees for 75 years. You can't understand. You can't understand it. I'm also 61 years old, and I've been a New York Knicks fan for 75 years. So I'm a Knicks fan. Okay? I love my Knicks, and it's been hard.
Yeah.
Before the Knicks got Jalen Brunson, and you as a Knicks fan, Louis, remember this, we were looking for a star. And the star that it looked like we were trying to and maybe going to land would be Donovan Mitchell from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Somehow that did not fall through. Mitchell goes to Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz. He goes to Cleveland. We get stuck with the backup point guard from the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
Some kid named Jalen Brunson. I saw him play. I saw him play every now and then. Decent little game, but he's a little guy, Okay. So he turns down a deal with the Mavericks for over $50 million. You're a backup, son. 4 years, $54 million. Not bad. Should have took it, or 3 years, $54 million. But he said no. And the Knicks offer him 4 years for 104. And the first thing I say is, what the fuck did they just do? Holy shit. I'm like, why? I mean, okay, we couldn't get a star. Well, you just gave this boy $25 million a year. What the hell are you doing? Well, that's been answered. That question's been answered 10 times, 100 times over. And Jalen Brunson is now basically the new king of New York.
Yes.
As he is a bona fide NBA superstar, the leading scorer in the playoff, 5 40-point games, 4 of them in a row. Absolutely ridiculous. He got hurt. When he got hurt, boy, about shit in my pants. I said, it's over, Louis. It's over. I walked away from the TV. My wife said, you look so heartbroken. I said, 61. I want one more. I just want one more. One more, man. Jesus. One more championship. The Mets, one more World Series. The Giants, one more Super Bowl. Tennessee Volunteers, can I get another national? I can go on and on and on. But then, Jay, remember, the Knicks are up 2-0. They took care of business at home.
Yeah.
They go to Indiana. What the fuck happened? Dude, when Indiana was up 43, there was a couple of times I said to myself, is it 43? Because I could swear they were up like 55.
Yeah.
Man, yo, Jay, that was an ass whooping. Like, damn.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was ugly to watch. You know, Brunson didn't play well. DiVincenzo didn't play well. Hart didn't play well. I mean, the Knicks just looked like they were out of it, you know, in that first game. And then, you know, game 4 was a little bit closer. You know, I think they ended up losing by like 5. So, I mean, you saw more of that production, but the way they've bounced back shows the absolute heart and tenacity this team has, especially Jalen Brunson.
Right.
You know, getting hurt so much and, you know, missing OG Anunoby. I know he's supposed to be out for game 6, but it's like a superstar was made in these playoffs. Mm-hmm. You know, I know he got that all-star nod, but he became a bona fide superstar in these playoffs. And he's just going to continue to shine at this point.
Oh, Sammy, it's been to watch him, 28 points in game 5, 28 points in the first half, 16 in the second half. He finishes with 44 points. I mean, it is just what he's able to do as a little guy down low, find his shot. That the fakes that he has is beautiful. But more than that, Sammy, the energy that he brings to the Knicks. The Villanova 3 have been absolutely fantastic, playing out of their minds. They were destined to have an off game, to get tired. I get that. But Sammy would have come back in game 5 by the Knicks, and that damn Jalen Brunson boy, king of New York, Hoss.
Well, I think it's not said enough that he has obviously worked on his skills enormously. He was a good player at Villanova, and he was a good, decent player at the Mavericks, but he took a step change in improvement in his ability, which, the moves, the one-on-one, the stutter step, the fade. Do you know how much time it takes in the gym by yourself to practice all that stuff? He's practically become twice as good as he was. He was good before, and you don't get that good without a shitload of practice.
Yep.
Tip your hat to the guy. And he was doubted. They didn't think he was good enough. They didn't think he was talented enough. And he just said, when you watch how good I get. And by the way, he can shoot the basketball. That's why he's great.
So Jay, so here's where the Knicks are. So it's game 6 is tomorrow night. in Indiana. I'm confident, as I believe the Knicks are confident, they can go to Indiana and beat Indiana, and they can do it without OG Anunoby. Me as a fan, I'd rather he just sit down, rest his ass, and get that leg healthy for Boston. So I bring this to you. I'm going to bring it to you too, Louis, but I bring it to you, Jordan, first. Knicks' chances in Game 6 tomorrow night without OG, and the fact that if you're going to beat Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, OG got to be back. Oh, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, I think New York has a very solid chance tomorrow night. You already know what you're going to get from Brunson. You know what to expect from DiVincenzo, Hart. You got guys like Isaiah Hartenstein, Precious Achiuwa. Alec Burks has gotten some minutes. So I think the only thing stopping them in Game 6 would be a monster game from Tyrese Halliburton. And you really haven't seen that so far this series.
He doesn't have that. He's good,
Yeah.
but he can't.
He had the one game at the end, 34, 35 points, but you're right. Yeah.
Right. And similar to, Minnesota and OKC, you're a really young team. No one expected you to get this far. You've probably reached the end, if we're being honest. And there's nothing wrong with that. Congrats on a great season, but I think the New York Knicks have Game 6.
Hey, Louis. Now you're there in the tri-state area, and you listen. There were guys on some of the shows I watched that said, Chris, what's his name? Man. Anyway, he's on First Take, the NBA guy. Anyway,
Stephen A. Smith.
No, yeah, but it's one of the NBA guys. Windy.
Brian Windhorst.
Yeah, Windy was talking today, and he says, he said he's never seen or heard the Garden like he heard it in Game 5. And we know, Louis, in New York, that it's as serious. Sports is as serious as it gets. For the major sports teams in New York. The excitement building in New York for the New York Knicks. Louis, you as a Knicks fan, you and I to be able to look each other and say, Louis, one win away from the Eastern Conference Finals. Louis?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, that they've always had trouble against Indiana on Indiana's home court. Based on what happened on Sunday's game, which was a massacre. I mean, they really had to step up their game. Bruce has to step up his game as well. All of them had to step up if they're going to beat the Pacers on their home court tomorrow. I mean, basically, I have to look at 7 games. I mean, we would win that 7th game, of course, but it's going to take, a total team effort for them to get the job done in Game 6. I hope they can do it, but I'm still thinking that they're going to win it in 7.
And then, of course, if they do, which, hey, it's what I'm sure hoping for. I need some celebrations. It is then the Boston Celtics. And Sammy, Sammy, like I told Jordan, unless you see it differently, Sammy, and if you do, please explain it. Knicks can't beat the Boston Celtics without OG Anunoby.
I think that's probably right. I'd love for the Knicks to win. I love their grit. They're a very overachieving team, but they're not big enough inside. I don't think. I think it's possible, but unlikely that they're going to beat the Celtics. But again, back to the shooting thing. Brunson can shoot it better than the 2 stars for Boston. He's more unstoppable right now than both of those guys. And, he can just carry the team. I wouldn't bet on it, but that they're going to win, but they could.
They could. Louis, before we get on to the last topic, I'm done with Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, I think most of us are. He's failed to come through.
He can't stay healthy. I mean, I hate it for him, but he can't stay healthy.
That's the problem right there. That's very Achilles heel. aside from the other injuries, but he's got to be the most accident-prone player on this roster.
Hey, Louis, one more thing about the Knicks. I just thought about it. Your opinion, some stupid rumor. Knicks are willing to mortgage a farm to get Devin Booker. What's your opinion? Get Devin Booker, or should we keep what we have and build? Julius Randle's coming back. You've got this team coming back. What do you think, Louis?
Well, I think Devin Booker may be a great addition, but if you have those players come back with Randle and whatnot, I don't think we're gonna need. I don't think we'll need.
No,
I
don't think so.
No.
I think you take this team. What do you think, Jay? Give this team Julius Randle come back healthy?
Julius Randle is a very up and down player. He won Most Improved one year, and then he just kind of fell off, and he has his injuries and everything. But it's surprising you bring up Devin Booker. I did hear about that. But what if there's another player on the Suns that the Knicks should trade for?
You know what? I'm going to answer you this way. As a Knicks fan, I don't want LeBron James. I don't want Kevin Durant. I don't want Kyrie Irving. I don't want James Harden. There are certain guys I don't want in a Knicks uniform. Kevin Durant didn't want to come the first time. Since I can say it on this show, fuck you, KD. Keep your ass where you go because you can't come on my goddamn team. Hell no.
But you'll take Booker?
I'll take Booker. I ain't got nothing against Booker. Now, I don't want to break up the team. Listen, I had a problem with Randle. I like the Randle signing. I liked him in Los Angeles. I like his game as a lefty because, again, most of us are right-handed, right? So when you bring a lefty into the game, like baseball and the other sport, in this case basketball, and you bring a lefty in, that's a whole different game because it's the game of basketball, right? But on the other side, the left side, and if you're not a lefty, you guys, you're a righty. I can't do shit with my left hand. I can't do a damn thing with my left hand. So it's a different. So I like his game. Yeah, up and down, most improved player, went back down. But I'm kind of thinking, Jay, the big picture. You take DiVincenzo and Hart have had career years. It is incredible that the New York Knicks have had 4 or 5 guys have career years at the same time on the same team in the same moment. It's amazing. I think, Sammy, you and I talked about that. That was incredible. But I would like to see Randle come back healthy, and Anunoby, everybody they have. You might shift a piece or two here and there. Jericho Sims, hey, Louis, that's another guy. Do me a favor, Louis. Call Jericho Sims' agent. Tell him I said he needs to get the hell out of his ass from New York when the season's over. He needs to go too. But all he can do is dunk. He can't do anything else for me. But anyway, that's how that goes. And so here we are. Tonight it's Chuck. Sammy, I wanted to tell you screw you now ahead of time because I'm going to stay up and watch the game, which means I'll go to bed tonight about the time that I actually wake up every day. Because you said you were up to about 2 o'clock in the morning the other day. Well, 2 o'clock my time, which is 3 o'clock your time. That's when I wake up.
Let me tell you something. I paid for it, but it was absolutely worth it. It was one of the greatest basketball displays of genius I've ever seen.
I'm gonna hate
Jordan, did you see the game?
I actually didn't see the game.
Have you heard? Has anybody else told you what he did?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Jay, do yourself a favor, Jay. When we get off the show, if you got 5 minutes, go watch some highlights. Oh shit, man. This was like, I'm talking about serious, man. Straight up, man. All jokes aside, man. Yo, it was straight up abuse. It was so abusive, man. Really. Joker did that shit on purpose, man.
Some people say, I think it's his finest hour.
It was abusive.
They're saying when they look back on his career, they're going to say, remember Game 5 against the Timberwolves? You're going to remember that game.
He embarrassed the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. You win the Defensive Player of the Year 4 times, I'm going to ask you to do one thing, just one thing. When we play Denver, you can't stop them, but you got to slow the Joker down.
There was no slowing the guy down, man.
And some people, I forgot, it was on the Stephen A. Smith show. It made a great point about Joker having such a great third quarter, and should Rudy Gobert get all the blame? I think it was Tim Legler who said it really good when Legler said, listen, I don't care. He said, I don't care if it was Mutombo, I don't care if it was a great Bill Russell, I don't care who. That third quarter, the Joker nobody was going to stop him in any era. He was just having his way. It was just, you got to check that out, Jay. I'm going to start this last segment with this. I'll try to make it as quick as I can. Back in 1973, I'm reading a newspaper, 73, 74, college basketball season. I'm reading the New York Post, I believe. Small section of sports paper. In New York, the newspapers, the sports are in the back of the newspaper. And, before computers, Louis, I know you were the same, Louis, couldn't wait to read the Daily News, the New York Post. Maybe I go to the neighbor's house. If they waited too long to get their New York Times from out their door, I'd steal it. I'd bring it back. I would bring it back. But anyway, so I could read the newspaper.
Yeah.
I read a little section. It was a 23-year-old woman named Pat Head. She was taking over as the head basketball coach of the Lady Volunteers of Tennessee. I'm in New York, 10 years old. That's interesting. That's an interesting article. She's going to drive the bus. She's going to wash the jerseys, do the laundry, and coach the team and play. Interesting.
Yes.
I'll follow it. I've been watching a little bit of the NAIA and women's basketball, and I was there when the Blaze came out, Carol Blazkowski, of course, and some of the other greats. So I'll pay attention. So I paid attention, and Pat Head became Pat Summit, and the Lady Vols became my basketball team, college basketball team. I love women's sports. God Almighty, I love women's sports to the end of the world. So much so that my wife and I and daughter got the message, like a bunch of us, back in 1995. Jay, was you alive? 95?
A couple years off.
Oh, you wasn't alive? I was just joking. You wasn't alive yet in 95?
No.
Oh, hell, I was actually joking. I thought you was. Oh, shit. Okay, so cool. Back in 1995, before you were born, Jordan, the announcement was made of the creation of the WNBA. Women had gone overseas their whole lives after college to play basketball because it was the only way that they could continue their dream to play basketball was to go overseas. Never happened that chance. Finally, on June 21st, 1997, my daughter, my oldest girl, Keisha, my wife and I sit in front of the TV, and it is the Great Western Forum in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Sparks hosting the New York Liberty. The inaugural game, 14,284 people watched that, and probably 1.5 million people on TV. And it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. Jay, it was ugly, Jay. It was ugly.
It was certainly ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. It was ugly. But legends were born. Cynthia Cooper, who had played in Russia and other leagues overseas, comes to play in the WNBA, and she and the Houston Comets win the first 4 WNBA championships. Later on, of course, she played on the team with Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops. Of course, there was Lisa Leslie, and don't get me started because I can go on and on. Year number 28 in the WNBA was preceded by the greatest NCAA women's tournament of all time. Especially when you particularly think about viewership, okay? Because Caitlin Clark has taken women's basketball to another level. You can hate all you want, and I don't want to hear this race shit. Okay? Stop that she's the white girl getting treatment. If she is, she's going to because she's white. But that's not the thing that we're talking about.
No.
She's great. She's fucking great. And she brings eyes and attention and the notoriety and the respect to the game that the game so sorely needs. And so the season kicks off. After 18, 19, 20 million viewers in the NCAA tournament, what does Caitlin Clark do for an encore? 2.5 million people. And by the way, Louis, her WNBA debut had more viewers than the Boston Bruins NHL playoff game.
I'm not surprised about that, of course. I mean, because basketball always does hockey anyway, whether it's men's or women's.
So the season kicks off, and we're here. And by the way, I just got to let everybody know, listen, guys, it's a great game. Sammy, we talked on the phone, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about college. Sammy wrote a lot about Caitlin Clark and her march to stardom in her last 2 years. He loves Caitlin Clark like he loves the Joker, and he loves some other stuff too.
I love Caitlin too.
But anyway, you see what she's done for the game, Chuck. You talked about it. The shooting, the excitement, the crowds. 10 turnovers during her WNBA debut. Welcome to the W, Caitlin. Chuck, your thoughts on the WNBA? Caitlin Clark.
Well, I have a question for you. Do you think that was an aberration and she's going to be a star?
She's going to be a star.
Is she going to be a star?
Oh, she's gonna be a star. Her shot is too good. You think about it. She had.
Yeah, I kind of think. I mean, if you can shoot like that, you can shoot like that. It doesn't matter who you're playing. But she needs to stop turning the ball over.
No. That's going to come with time. Listen, think about it. Here she is. Diana Taurasi said it really good by saying, "You look like a superwoman playing around a bunch of 18-year-old kids in college. Now you're coming to the WNBA. Grown women who have been doing this for years. This is our livelihood," is what Diana Taurasi said. I say it this way. The WNBA consists of the best women basketball players on the planet.
Yes.
Period. So think about it. If there's 500 of them, I don't know how many they are, I just want to use a number. If there's 500 WNBA players and you're number 500, God damn it, you are still one of the greatest fucking women basketball players on the planet.
That's right.
Still. So that means every night that Caitlin gets on the fucking court, she's playing with and against the greatest on the planet. The game just changed. And she had 10 turnovers. And she looked bad at times. Yet, she was the game's leading scorer with 20 points.
Have you ever seen a person score 20 points in a game and basically everybody says she had a bad game?
She had a bad game.
And she scored 20 points.
Yeah.
Because that shot is very, very special. It's beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
It's you can count on it. The motion. I think so. What you're saying, and I'm a little hesitant, but she's going to get that shot off in the WNBA all the time, right?
She's not going to get it. She's not going to get it off the way she did in college. No way she's going to get it off. She's going to have so much more pressure. So much faster players coming at her, better schemes. Some of these colleges some of these colleges depend on the star that they have, which is nobody to a Caitlin Clark. What kind of game plan could they? This is a professional women's league, and she's going to face that night in and night out. She's going to get all kinds of switches that she didn't get. They gave up a lot on her in college.
How many points a game is she going to average this year?
She's going to average 20 points a game easy. I don't see how she'll do it. Jay, you don't think she's going to average 20 points a game?
No, I think that's completely possible. I mean,
yeah.
You've seen what she did in college. I mean, it's just going to take some time to adapt to the WNBA game.
Is that an all? Is she going to be an all-star this year?
I don't see.
That's a good one. I don't know. Right now, it is halftime in Indiana, and my New York Liberty lead the Indiana Fever 48-31. At the half, Caitlin Clark is currently 1 of 5, 2 points, and a -15 at this moment. Aaliyah Boston 3 of 9, so rough there. But Stewie getting the job done. Stewie is 8 of 14. Brianna Stewie 8 of 14 at the half. She has 20 points at the half.
Wow.
So not bad. Not bad right there. 17-point lead for the Liberty. Listen, guys, it is, Angel Reese. I want to see Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese were picked by the Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky a couple of years ago won the WNBA championship with Candace Parker, Courtney Vandersloot, to name a few. Now the Sky find themselves, they had a great draft. You get Camila Cardoso out of South Carolina. You get Angel Reese out of LSU. You got two of the best basketball players on the planet on one team. So they're going to make a difference. I want to see the difference that they're going to make. Over in Los Angeles, I'm looking at Cameron Brink out of Stanford, Rakia Jackson out of Tennessee, were their 2 draft picks. Rakia's coming off the bench now. Cameron is starting, but it's going to be nice to see. It's always good when Los Angeles in any sports is doing good. It's going to be great to see that. Sammy, you got stuff to add?
You think Clark is I'm worried about her losing her confidence. The coach bitching at her. Everybody's going to just pile on if she doesn't play like she did in college. I'm worried about her psyche.
I can't imagine. No, I can't. She's this good already. Just listen. We watch what she did with the weight of the world on her shoulders in the NCAA. How much more pressure do you get? I am a senior. I'm the greatest thing in basketball, women's basketball right now. And the whole women's basketball world is depending on me to take this game to the next level.
And she scored 41 against UConn.
Right. So she'll be fine. Now, she's going to go through a hell of a learning curve in her rookie year.
Her father says that Caitlin Clark wants to be the greatest female basketball player of all time.
I believe she has.
So as she gets frustrated, she's going to practice more, like Brunson, like Joker, like Luka. She's going to. You can people like that are crazy. They'll compete like hell.
Yeah, they'll compete no matter what. They'll compete no matter what. And that's the beauty about it. So I'm looking forward to this WNBA season. My daughter went and bought an NBA League Pass. She doesn't want to miss any games.
Really?
That girl, she's a big Indiana Fever fan. So I'm not going to be able to text her because if I do, she's going to say some bad things to me right now. So I don't want my kids to talk bad like that to me. No. Okay, so we've reached that point where I look at Louie and tell Louie what I say every show. Louie, final thoughts, final basketball thoughts.
And the thing is, of course, that she has received a lot of attention for her college game, and I mean she did have a good start despite the fact she had multiple turnovers. She needs to work on that, but I think a lot of it is it's her first game in the professional league. I think a lot of it had to do with nerves. And if she can find a way to calm herself down, I think she's gonna be able to reduce those turnovers to at least maybe half of that. I mean, you can't expect, despite all the hype that she's not gonna make some mistakes. All rookies make mistakes, But as you get more into the game, I think she's gonna be able to control it. I mean, is she gonna win every game? No, probably not. Of course not. But she is gonna be able to control the ball better and not to make many turnovers. And yes. She will score an average of at least 20 points per game and will become an all-star in her first season.
Wow.
How about that, Louie? By the way, also one more thing about the Indiana Fever. They suck.
Yeah.
They've sucked for a while now. And yes, they have Aaliyah Boston national champion at South Carolina.
Well, that's probably good for Caitlin that she'll be able to shoot a lot.
Yeah, and she is the number one pick last year, but it's going to be a lot of work. Jay, final thoughts.
Yeah, so two things. One, basketball is in a great place right now, WNBA and NBA. You know, I know the WNBA is expanding. They just announced the Golden State Valkyries.
Yep, and Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto set to get an expansion team in the next couple of years, so that's really good. NBA, amazing right now. But I'm really looking forward to what's going on off the court, you know, especially in the next couple months. I think a lot of stars are going to be on the move. So that's something I would look out for.
That gets on my last nerve, man. I get tired of these motherfuckers not knowing where the hell they want to play. Can you pick a place to keep your ass there? That's how it was when I grew up. I knew who my team was. I didn't have to worry about nobody coming. Maybe we drafted somebody the year after. We had the same team year in, year out. Now these guys just go back and forth, back and forth. Sammy.
Money and the championships.
I know. Sammy.
Here's my final thought. I think that, you know how I feel about Joker. And I think that the Nuggets, I've been watching a lot of I've been reading a lot, and they got I just learned a lot about these players, and they absolutely love their star. They love each other. They love their coach, and it's genuine. It's not made up. They really actually like each other, and I think that makes for a good team, and that's why they're good, and it's refreshing. I think that it's so cool that we have this superstar who's very humble and likable, and that's why it's so entertaining. He's not a prick. He's a cool dude. He doesn't say anything, and he's unbelievably entertaining to watch. And I think the other final thought is the word continuity. I'm for a long time I wasn't a real NBA guy. As a kid I was. For a lot of years I wasn't. But the continuity, are. You know Larry Bird plays for the Celtics. Now Joker plays for the Nuggets. I know their starting five. Very much unlike college basketball and college football now, where you don't know who the people are after 1 year often because they keep transferring. Yeah. Continuity makes for more enriching sporting experiences than people moving around too fast that you don't know who they are.
That's why I don't want none of those damn stars on my team. Leave my Knicks alone. My final thoughts go to the NBA, LeBron James, and Bronny James.
Oh, yeah.
First thing I'm going to say is this. As I said earlier, blessed to have seen some of the greatest that have ever played in all sports. And LeBron James, without question, is absolutely the freak of nature's greatest athlete that has ever set foot on a basketball court. To do what he's doing at 39 years old is freaking like I don't understand it. It's crazy. But with fame and fortune comes an occasional bout of stupidity, an occasional bout of what the fuck are you thinking? Why the hell are you? And one of the things that turns me off about Bron, and again, Bron, you got the right. You your own man. You've accomplished more than I could make up in my mind for me. I'm just saying I got an opinion, and I'm just giving my opinion. Why you cry sometimes? Like why is the limelight so important? Why is the attention so fucking important? You know what I love about my great players? Let me tell you what I love about my great players. Like Joker, right? Shut the fuck up and play the game and win championships, okay? How about that? And when you finish playing the game, you could talk all the shit you want. You could enjoy all the accolades and all the glories. But more than that, now you got to put your son into this, right? Because, by the way, I heard that Bronny's brother is better than Bronny. That's what I heard. That's the real ball. Bryce, I think it is. He's the real ball player.
Really?
But I digress. I don't know that for a fact. But all this pressure on Bronny, right? First of all, any team they're getting excited now, right? Shit. Bronny's at the combine. Well, fuck, we got to think about making a deal. The Atlanta Hawks are rumored to be thinking about taking Bronny James with the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you serious? I mean, again, nothing against them. Jay, Bronny with the number 1 pick?
Look, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Bronny James because
he'll never live up to the light.
He's never going to escape his father's shadow. And I just saw a video, I think earlier today, where he was like, yeah, I get it. I'm LeBron's son, but I'm more than that. And you are, but NBA GMs are going to look at you and say, here's a really good chance to get LeBron on our team by drafting Bronny.
Right.
So I hope he has a great career, but unfortunately for now, a lot of GMs are just going to see him as, here's a chance at LeBron. So,
you know what I'm worried about, Sammy? I'm worried about him getting on a basketball team. Let's use the Hawks as an example. So the Hawks pull the trigger and do the unthinkable, and they pick Bronny James with the number 1 pick. Obviously, somebody's already talked to LeBron and said, we're gonna take your son with the number 1 pick. You know what I'm saying? You coming? Yeah. Oh yeah. Come play with my son. Cool. The Atlanta Hawks.
I think with
Bronny James and LeBron James, when I'll be playing with the Atlanta Hawks. Louis, I'll let you take this, Louis. I'll let you take this here. How about this, Louis? You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid of that boy getting on the basketball court at the same time with his daddy and grown men and getting embarrassed. Because, wow, to watch your kid get embarrassed in the NBA, that's bad.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I'm worried about, the thing that worries me about is his health. Because, last year when he was working out, he suffered a cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
And, so he really, I think they should be more concerned about his health and how to prepare for in case, something like this happens to him again. Because, that almost ruined his career with that unfortunate incident. So I'm hoping that, he finds ways to stay healthy so he'll be able to, to continue to play. And the second thing is that, it's a lot to live up to when your dad, of course, is LeBron. And for now, they're just going to seem like, oh, it's LeBron's boy. He's got a lot to live up to. And, that's very tough for a young person to handle when you stack it against the legacy against, your father or your brother or your third cousin or whatever. He has a lot to live up to.
Barry Bonds was doing a great job of following his father's footsteps until he started taking a fucking jab. And then everything changed when he started sticking that needle up his ass. Then everything changed. God damn, Barry's head got so damn big, I was like, holy shit.
You get the general idea.
It was unbelievable. He came out.
Melon head.
2 guys got me. Barry Bonds, when he came back that season after shooting up, and Lenny Dykstra for the Mets. Lenny Dykstra left a fucking 145-pound wet blanket for the Mets. He came back 195 pounds, looked like fucking Popeye.
And like, one of the great nicknames of all time, Nails.
Thank you for joining us this evening, everybody. This is the NGSC Sports Weekly. It is the NBA show special. So glad to have Sammy Sportface join us here this evening. Of course, can't do an NBA show without the NBA guy and Jay. And, of course, my boy Louis Tino. Always glad that he's here. Of course, he's always a constant reminder of how much I hate those fucking Yankees, but always a pleasure. Attack on the Politicals is taking just a little downtime right now. We'll be back real soon. The trial of Donald Trump is winding down in New York City. I don't think they got him, but that's okay. You try. But anyway, we'll be back Sunday with In the Batter's Box and Jake. We'll see how the playoffs look. We can come back next week, talk some ball.
Sounds good.
Until then, as we say down south, We holla at y'all. Peace.